Welcome back to the Fit Life Orange County podcast. I'm your host, Jake Stewart. In today's episode, we get to sit down with Lisa Barrett, who talks through her lifestyle as a healthy cooking coach. It's a super awesome episode, and I can't wait for y'all to hear it. Let's get to it.
Here is Bryce Henson and Jake Stewart, your host of the Fit Life Orange County.
Welcome back to the Fit Life Orange County podcast. Today, I have a very, very special guest, a boot camper that I have known for 7+ years at this point. It's going to be a super awesome episode. I'm sitting here with Lisa Barrett. Lisa Barrett, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I'm so excited to have you. Why don't you just give us a little bit of introduction, so a little bit of who you are, maybe what you do for a living, just give us some background so the audience at home knows who you are.
Okay. Well, I'm Lisa Barrett. I've been coming to boot camp for 9 years. And I've always had fitness in my life of some sort, and I'm real passionate about travel and exercise, my puppy, my granddaughter, things that, bring most people joy. And I retired in August and took off 5 days later for Italy for 2 weeks and never looked back. And this is now a new chapter, and I'm loving it. And when people tell me, oh, I have no idea what I'd do if I retired, I go, oh, there is so much out there, and it's so exciting to have the time to do the things that you love and you couldn't do when you were working full-time. And there's been so much of that happening now. So loving my life right now.
That's awesome. And I think an important point there, you're only able to travel and do all these awesome things because you take such good care of yourself. A lot of people find that in their retirement that if they weren't taking care of themselves, maybe they worked for 30 or 40 years at a desk job, they've been out of shape, they've not been eating right, they haven't been doing all the things that they should be doing. Now, traveling to Italy might be a big burden, might be some big overtime. Maybe they're not even allowed to travel. Maybe they're not even allowed to fly. But you've done the opposite, and you've kept yourself in such good shape pretty much your entire life, it sounds like. And I'm really excited to kind of dig a little bit deeper into your story. So if you've been coming to boot camp for 9 years, like I said, I've known you for 7 of those 9 years because I started 7 years ago. It's been a long ride. And I've always known you as the fit Lisa Barrett who can handle any workout we throw her way. But can you talk to us a little bit about, was there ever a time in your life maybe prior to joining boot camp where you were feeling a little bit unhappy? Maybe you just weren't happy with where your health and fitness was, and just kind of talk us through like what that looked like, what that felt like, and then what got you to make the change. So if you could kind of just give us a little bit of elaboration on that.
Okay, so 9 years ago, and it's kind of interesting how 2 things happened at once, and I didn't recognize that before I started really thinking about this interview. The first was I was doing a lot of hot yoga, 5-6 days a week, and I loved it. I still love it, but I was losing my muscle mass, and that is so critical as we age. And without that muscle mass, you feel different, you don't look as good as you want to look. And so I went, I need to make a change. I didn't know what that change was. I didn't know how I was going to find it. But we were having dinner with some friends, and I was just telling them, where I was at. And my friend said to me, well, why don't you come try Fit Body? And I go, okay. He goes, I'll go with you on a Saturday, and you can see if you like it, check out the hours and the price and all of that, and see if it would be good for you. So I came with him, and I went, this is exactly what I need. And I quit my other membership, and that's how I got here. But the other thing that was going on at now doing this, putting this all together, I realized was at the same time was I was gaining weight. And a lot of it was that middle-aged, fat, old lady gut. And I couldn't get rid of it. I'd go to my doctor, I explain it to her, I'd tell her, this isn't right, this is what I ate this whole week. Oh, well, you're doing everything right. I go, but I'm not, because I'm not losing the weight. Well, you know what, you're doing everything right, just stick with that. And I go, wrong answer. So I was at the pharmacy, and I'm talking to the pharmacist, and she owned the business, and I was explaining to her what was happening to me. And she goes, hold on a minute. And she goes over to the side counter, and she grabs a card, and she goes, here, call her. So I look at the card, and it's a gastroenterologist. And I'm like, okay, what is a gastroenterologist going to know about, my weight and, my hormones and all of these things? And she goes, trust me. So I did, and I went and saw her, Dr. Angie Sadeghi, and it was life-changing. She's very intuitive, and she listens. And then she said, all right, so, you go through the regular things that they want you to do, So I'm sitting there talking to her and just having a nice conversation. She goes, give me your phone. I'm like, who does that? Okay, here's my phone. She goes, I'm going to put MyFitnessPal on your phone. I go, okay, what do I do with that? And she goes, everything you put in your mouth, you are going to write down. And I go, okay. And I said, well, I'm kind of one of those people that, if you tell me to do something, I'm going to do it, because why would I be here if I wasn't going to do what you asked? So then, she had me do the blood work, and, she looked at a lot of things, and she's the type of doctor who doesn't just go, well, this is what we do with everybody. Or she didn't say, okay, well, here's your test scores, and, you're in range. What does range mean? Does that mean that she and I, we're all the same? None of us are the same. No one is the same. Everybody should be treated as their individual self. And that's what she did. So I did everything she said. I went back to visit her, and I was just dumbfounded. I mean, on MyFitnessPal, my weight was up here, and literally it did this. And I go, you get it. And I sat there and I started crying. And she goes, why are you crying? And I said, I'm crying because you get it. And I said, no one else gets it like you do. So it was a life-changing experience. And so when you kind of blend that in with Fit Body Bootcamp and what you guys offer and how this has evolved in the last 9 years, and we used to be upstairs, and it was lovely, but it wasn't this. People that are coming in now, wow. I mean, I so appreciate, one, how the studio just keeps getting better and better. I also appreciate there's no negative here. I mean, you guys are always so positive, you're always so helpful, and new people, will come in and they start groveling or grumbling about something. It's like, can't do that. Somebody will say, well, I'm never going to be able to do that. And I go, just say you can. So I think keeping a positive attitude, you guys have just kind of, everybody just gets in that mode because that's what this place is. And I love it. I really, really love it. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate the kudos. That certainly warms my heart to hear that. And that was a lot of really, really good information, I think, for the people sitting at home. There's a couple big takeaways that I got from what you were just talking about.
Yeah.
One of the biggest is just finding what works best for you. So like you said, like how you, with your work with Dr. Angie, and this is what happens with a lot of people. They say, hey, Coach Jake, what do I need to do to eat better? What do I need to eat to be in whatever sort of shape? Right. And I say, it's like, hey, well, we gotta figure out what works best for you. Because I might tell Lisa Barrett, I might say, hey, Lisa, you should be eating, chicken and rice and this and that and whatever every day. But maybe your body doesn't react to that the same way. Maybe your body doesn't synthesize those proteins in the same way that Blake or somebody else would. So like everybody's different. Everybody's body is going to react, and that's super awesome that you found a program that fit your need, and that had someone that cared enough too, which is really, really important, because like you said, it's hard to find people that care enough to see the individual and not just the mass of society, which is really, really awesome. Yeah. And something I feel like we do a really good job here at Boot Camp is I love getting to know more and more about my clients. This is why I take the time to sit down and do interviews with you guys and sit down and talk to you guys at Boot Camp and get to know. Because at the end of the day, I just want to help you guys be as successful as possible. Absolutely. I am truly a coach. I'm not just here to help you drop pounds on the scale. I'm here to help you through whatever I can in your life. So that's super awesome. I really do appreciate the kudos. Now backtracking just a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's kind of talk about your fitness journey. So here at Boot Camp, so while you've been just working on Boot Camp within the last 9 years, has there been a tremendous weight loss that you've seen specifically? Has it mainly just been a muscle gain? So just talk us through kind of what that's looked like from Lisa Barrett stepping through the doors 9 years ago to Lisa Barrett right here now in 2023.
I had about 25 pounds I needed to give away because I'm not going to get it back. And that came off pretty fast. But the struggle as we age, and especially for women, is keeping the weight down. I can't eat as much as I used to. I do a plant-based diet 90% of the time, and I find that that really keeps my mind sharp, it keeps my body lean, and I feel nourished. I also know that I'm less, not, no one is not ever, but I'm not as going to be as, my body's not going to be as open to disease. So that's something that I've really, thought about. And that's what I really loved about Dr. Karen's interview with you is she's on that same page. She gets that. And whatever that meal planning is for each individual. But I think that that's what's worked for me. So that was, 9 years ago, and it seems like, to me, 9 years, wow, I can't believe how fast it's gone.
Oh, yeah.
But it was an evolution. It wasn't that I made an extreme, change in my eating habits. My workouts always have been, there were times, when I had little kids and we were running around and, I was working full time and I had, 2 kids. It was a busy life, and I didn't do as much of the working out. But I would say more than not, I've always had some sort of a workout.
Definitely.
So,
yeah, and I think a really good point to really just drive home is just making those little changes. Like you said, it wasn't a big drastic change that you made in your life,
right.
but just the sum of making little changes
Yes.
every day, every week, every month, every year,
Yeah.
add up to a whole heck of a lot. Like if you think about it, like, interest, like, when you owe interest on like a loan, like that, whatever 6% doesn't seem like that much on the first day when you buy it, but then a couple of years down the road, that 6% turns into a whole heck of a lot. Yeah. And it's the same thing, just making those small dietary choices, making the choice to come do a 30-minute workout instead of sitting on the couch, even though there's that basketball game you want to watch or whatever it may be. Right. So kudos to you for making those little changes and always making those little changes and always choosing to go down that path. Yeah. Something else that you mentioned that I always really like to drive home is just your body's less susceptible to disease when you're living a healthy lifestyle. It's so important, and that episode with Dr. Karen, which will be linked to this episode below, is super duper awesome, and she talks a lot about how it's like, hey, like especially something like COVID, most of the people that had adverse effects from COVID-19 were overweight. Yeah. And unhealthy. And because they were overweight and unhealthy, they had all these terrible reactions to the disease. Right. And COVID-19 could be replaced with pretty much anything. It could be heart disease. It could be X, Y, and Z. Yeah. There's so many different factors, but one of the main factors is just being overweight and not making those small choices every single day, which you chose to do, and your body's less susceptible to those things because of it. The next thing that I really want to talk to you about, because I'm really curious, and I'm sure there's a lot of people at home that maybe have tried this diet before, maybe are thinking about going toward that diet, is your 90% plant-based. So you're 90% of the time plant-based.
Coach Bryce here. Now, you might know me as the co-host of this podcast and the owner of Mission Viejo Fit Body. But what many people don't know is that began my fitness journey as a fitness transformation. Now, you see, circuit training and nutrition coaching absolutely changed my life after being overweight with a diet of mainly fast food in my late teens. Now, upon my fitness transformation in early 2007, yes, I gained a much better physique as I was overweight and I lacked lean muscle. But way more than burning fat and building lean muscle, I increased my self-confidence, my energy, and my vibrancy to live life on life's terms. Now, it's for these reasons that many people join our boot camp. Now, in fact, with our Ultimate Transformation Program, we guarantee, yes, guarantee, that you'll lose at least 10 pounds within 6 weeks, or your program is free until you do. Now, go ahead and visit our website at missionviejofitbody.com. Now, thanks, and back to the show.
Can you talk us through just a little bit kind of like why you chose to go that route? And then also like what maybe some meals look like for you, because I'm sure there's a lot of people that are home that are like, I want to try plant-based, but I don't know how to get enough protein, or I don't know how to eat enough. Like what are some good examples there? So just kind of talk us through the whole process.
So for the last 9 years, what's happened is it's gotten to be more and more and more a part of my life. So I didn't start out and just go, from this day on, I'm never going to have another piece of meat. I'm not that person. So yeah, a couple times a year, I love a great hamburger. Totally. I do, but I don't eat it all the time. Okay, I love going to sushi. That's my 10%. So what a plant-based diet looks like to me is for breakfast, I do a lot of different things. I might make a hash, and that could be a soy chorizo with, onions and black beans and some kale or collard greens, and I saute all that up. And I don't cook just one meal. So when I'm making this, I'm making enough for 3 weeks. So I package up one portion in the refrigerator. The other 2 portions I put in zippy bags, I write on it what it is, and I put it in the freezer. So that might be a breakfast. Lunch might be a really nice lentil salad, warm or cold. It could be a chickpea salad. It could be, like a bowl where you've got, your veggies and you've got a protein like maybe some cannellini beans and some basil and lettuce. Just kind of mix it up. But I try and keep it simple. And especially, I teach lifestyle cooking classes. So what I want people to be able to do is go, oh my gosh, this is a lot of work. It's not a lot of work because I show you how to outfit your pantry, how to outfit your freezer, so you always have something in that freezer. What I mean by that is, okay, we just came back from a 2-week vacation, and I'm like, oh gosh, what are we gonna eat? And I go, oh yeah. So I went home, and the next morning I pulled out, a soup, and I pulled out a hash bowl, and I pulled out something else. All I had to do was go get a couple of ingredients from the grocery store, and I had lunches and dinners for the week. So I think just being mindful that a lot of us will come home from work and we're gonna cook dinner. Okay, so now you gotta get all your ingredients out. How much time does that take? How much time does it take to put it all together? And I say, don't cook today for today. Cook today for tomorrow. Or like last night, I did a barbecue. So have the things ready the day before, because you're never in that, I gotta go sit in the kitchen, for an hour and a half and get all this stuff put together. Or it could be 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever it is for you. But I love trying new recipes. I don't know if anybody has had jackfruit. I love a jackfruit taco. Jackfruit takes on, and it's basically, it's about this big, and it looks like an oversized, prickly, beige watermelon. And what it does is you cut it open and you've got the fruit it's almost sectioned off inside. So you can buy it in the can or in a pouch. I get them at Trader Joe's. It'll take on, once you rinse it, it's in a brine. Once you rinse it and let it drain, you can add taco seasoning to it. You can add an Asian seasoning to it. So it'll take on any flavor that you put with it.
That's awesome.
It's so good, so fun too.
Oh yeah.
So I've done a bolognese out of lentils, fabulous flavor. That freezes really well. So make one for your meal tomorrow and make 2 more that you're gonna put in the freezer. So just think about expanding how much food you're making at one time, because it doesn't take any more time to do a double batch than it does a single.
Mm-hmm.
So I do a lot of things like that in showing people, I think the first thing is get your kitchen outfitted. I mean, it's kind of like, look at the equipment you have at boot camp. You get a better workout with the equipment.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing with your kitchen. You're gonna do a better job of your cooking if you have sharp knives, if you have measuring cups, if you have your pantry stocked. And you can do that on a large level or on a small level. It's up to how well, for one, space,
Mm-hmm.
right? But I can help you do a tiny kitchen,
Totally.
and be outfitted. You don't have as much stuff. That's okay.
Yeah.
You can still be equipped to put a meal together quickly.
That's awesome. Yeah, it just sounds like having the right tools for success, basically.
It is.
So making sure that you have the right stuff. But I want to talk a little bit more because I'm actually really curious about this. You talked a bit about how you teach cooking classes and like the revamping your pantry.
Yep.
What does that look like? So if someone's sitting at home and hey, maybe they want to reach out, maybe they want to contact you and they want to have you help them revamp their pantry or revamp their kitchen.
Yep.
What does that kind of thing look like? And like kind of what kind of services do you offer?
So what I would do is I would go out, and if the goal is pantry, freezer, fridge, that's the three I would put together on a first meeting. And we'll look at, okay, well, do you have, good storage containers? Because if you're buying things in bulk, which is going to be a better way to purchase because you're going to get a better price, do you have the right kind of containers? So I love to use canning jars. They have a good sealing lid, and you can do, small, medium, or the large. So that's one thing. And visually, they're appealing, and you can see what you've got in your pantry. So we'd start with the pantry. And clean out, is the biggest thing. Anything that's processed, I say that's the first thing you want to do. I mean, if you're trying to get into a healthy eating habit, get rid of all the distractions. Get rid of all of the sugary cereals, all of that kind of thing. Then we move to the freezer, same thing. So I have on my top shelf canning jars, and you go down about, you freeze about, leave that much room at the top. It's amazing how much something expands as it freezes. It's crazy. So have enough up there. Okay, so I had a friend having some oral surgery, and I said, well, I'm going to make you a few, soups so you have something to eat after. So just stuck them up on the shelf. When she was getting ready to go for her surgery the day before, I grabbed them off the shelf, put them in a bag, took them over to her, and she had something to eat for the week. Then I do, frozen vegetables in bags if I'm going to do some things with that. And then I just try and keep, today I made quinoa. Well, I didn't just make enough for one meal, I made enough for 4. So then when it cools, I package it up, put it in there. So I'm going to make a chickpea quinoa salad. Oh, grab the chickpeas, grab the quinoa. I do have some canned ingredients, but I do try and use dried beans. I soak them, I cook them myself. One, they have a lot more texture and flavor than a canned bean does, or a canned lentils, that kind of thing. So then we go to the refrigerator, clean out, get rid of, restock, kind of get an inventory put together. And then talk about, okay, so how do you want to build this? How do you eat? What are the types of things? Are you, a mom? Are you on the go? Are you retired? You have no kids at home? What does it look like for you? And then go through that with someone so I can understand where are they coming from, okay? And I work with people who don't eat meat, that are plant-based. I work with people who are meat lovers. That doesn't matter for me on the helping side. What matters to me is that I understand where they're at with their cooking. And I've had people who, they don't have any knife skills. They need knife skills. So I go, okay, well, we can do that in phase 2. Let's first get everything organized and cleaned up. So it's a very systematic but easy approach.
Definitely.
So
that's awesome. Well, that's super duper great, and I think a lot of people hopefully will be reaching out to you. What's the best way to get in touch with you if they want to contact you for any of your services?
Yeah, I think email would be good. And my email is lifestyle.cooking@yahoo.com.
Perfect. Yeah. So if you guys are interested and want to learn a little bit more about your pantry, if maybe you want to have Lisa come over and revamp your pantry, please reach out to her at that email. We'll have it linked below. But that's super awesome. And that's super great, again, that you're meeting people in the middle. So just like you said, you want to meet people with where they're at, just like we do here at boot camp.
Right.
So obviously if someone comes in that's super overweight, I'm not going to say, hey, we're going straight into the burpees. Like, hey, we're going straight into box jumps or something crazy. Meet them where they're at. Hey, maybe instead of a box jump, we just work on getting our knees up. Hey, maybe instead of this. I feel like it's the same thing comes down with their nutrition.
For sure.
And what I really liked is something that you said is something I say all the time. Nutrition is simple, but it's not easy. Yeah. So it's easy to make bad choices, but it's simple to have good stuff. So if you just don't have the bad choices in your pantry, you don't have the bad choices in your fridge, you're not going to make those unhealthy choices because it's not there. It's not there, which is super duper awesome. So thank you so much for sharing that. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Well, we're getting down toward the end of this. I just got a couple of questions left for you. One of them is, this is a local podcast. So here in Orange County, I know you've lived in Orange County for a long time. So on the weekends, where can I find Lisa Barrett and Dennis? Where are you guys hanging out? Is there anything specifically around here that you guys like to do? Do you guys frequent the beach? Do you guys go inland to the mountains? Is there anywhere around here that you guys like going?
Yeah, there's so many great hikes around here. I just had a friend in from Seattle, and she's a runner, and I said, well, I'm not going to run with you. I stopped doing that a long time ago. So I said, but I'll take you on a beautiful hike. So we went to South Laguna, went to the top of Nice Place, and there's an amazing hike up there, and it's really more of a nice walk, but it feels like you're on a bridge, a wide bridge. Look this way, and you're going to see the ocean. Look this way, and you're going to see the canyon. Cool. And so it's a gorgeous walk. And then we went downtown, and I took her to Have-A-Stand, which is a cute little, actually it's been there like 45 years, and it's a plant-based. This guy started back then. So it's a little tiny shack. It's adorable. You can find us. We're down at the beach a lot riding bikes, and we love it down there. So a little eat, a little drink, a little ride. I mean, it's beautiful.
That's awesome.
So yeah, just walking. Walk a lot. I have a puppy, so I take him out for lots of walks, try and keep the energy level at a nice level for Mom.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, Murphy's a handful. I know your dog very well. He's an awesome dog, but definitely a handful for sure. Well, that's super awesome, and I know that there's a lot of people sitting at home. This kind of comes down to the last question, so I just want a little piece of parting wisdom from you and something you would give to our audience. So there's probably people sitting at home that maybe feel like, they haven't made a change. Maybe it's too scary to make a change. They don't know what to do next. Maybe they've never been into fitness. Maybe they've never really tried to change their nutrition or done anything. Like, what's one piece of parting wisdom that you would give to somebody that's at home watching this episode?
So I did write out some things, and these I want to share these with you because it's just 6 things. But I wanted to make sure I got it right, so I want to look at my paper. But so these 7 things are things that I've been told by other people. And so, just kind of building on a list over a long period of time, and you can try them, and if you don't like them, that's fine. But it's so funny because I was saying one of these things, and I'll tell you which one it is when I get here. I was telling my mom is 89 this October. And she goes, well, I do that. And I go, Mom, you got that from me, right? And she goes, well, probably. So here's the first one. 7 days a week, get up at the same time every day. You pick your time, but your body will thank you. Do intermittent fasting. Mine is breakfast at 8, lunch at 12, dinner at 4. Then you get your 16 hours of no eating, and you'll feel a lot better. Gratitude journal. Keep a journal. You can do it on a calendar. You can do it just in a book. You can do it on a piece of paper. But what are you grateful for? I think we all found so many things we were grateful for during the pandemic. I was grateful for you guys showing up. Then we moved to our squares. But you guys were here. And the next thing is weigh yourself every day. Same exact time every day. Start your day, this is the one my mom said she does. Start your day with a handful of berries or a prune, some almonds, and get your metabolism going. From the minute you put your feet on the floor, within that first 30 minutes. And the last one is be yourself, but be your best self.
Wow. Well, I couldn't have said it better myself. Lisa, we got a lot of value out of this episode. I know a lot of people at home got a lot of value out of this episode, so thank you so much for investing your time to come sit down with us. Remember, you guys, you can email Lisa. Her email will be linked below this episode. If you guys liked this episode or you liked any of our episodes here with the Fit Life Orange County, please like, comment, or subscribe below. We will see you next time.